We're back. Episode 201. We're starting this next 200 episodes how we mean to go on, where it's not working right. Judd's face is broken.
Why is my face broken? It's not broken on my end.
It's fine.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I fixed it. Also, my microphone's on the wrong setting. Is it broken, my microphone?
Oh, God.
No, we're fine.
No.
We're all right. Me and Judd are both exhausted today.
I'm just tired. We're not upset. Well, at least we're not depressed this episode. We're just actually tired. We're
just like proper tired this time, rather than like depressed tired. God.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that is fine. That is fine. Coming up in today's podcast, the Prime card, goblins, life, and animals. Stupid thing to do with animals.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really, we're like genuinely really sleepily distracted this time. I'm gonna kick us off with an update on the Prime card. I'm using different headphones today, and I can hear myself like really clearly. The other headphones I use like block out sound a lot, but these ones like it's like I'm not even wearing headphones. I can just hear myself straight away. Anyway, sorry, getting distracted. Prime card. This is KSI versus Tommy Fury fighting. It's our next like big stream that we're going to be doing. October 14th. We'll be live for a watch along of the entire event. It's going to be fucking madness, right? Fucking man, just like our 200th podcast special was, which is now uploaded and edited in full. Go watch it on the Streams Badly YouTube channel.
Amazing, it's so good.
We had a great old time. Judd only threw up like 3 or 4 times, so you know he did a good job.
Maybe five.
I didn't throw up once. The Prime card then, it's October 14th. I just wanted to run down some of the fights that happened on this because we've not actually talked about them since. It's going to be the best crossover boxing event ever, so far as I'm concerned. We've got King Kenny versus Anthony Taylor. King Kenny's been on a tear race recently. Everyone's been, he's been looking really good lately. He's been demolishing opponents, but Anthony Taylor hasn't lost to anyone apart from Logan Paul, what the fuck am I on about? Tommy Fury, so far as I'm aware. Or has he? Wait, let me check. He's had pro fights, but so he lost to Chris Avila. That don't count as an influencer one yet, though. So his first fight was Ryan Taylor that he drew. Then he beat Ash Raksu, drew Jack Fincham. Oh, he lost to Idris Virgo, but he beat Salt Pappy. So Anthony Taylor's like, he's one of the guys in this. He's pretty decent. So it's a step up for King Kenny. It's going to be really interesting to see how he performs here, because if he does, he's going to fucking rise in the ranks again.
I was going to try and say something funny then, but I'm too tired. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, it's not funny this time. We're not doing any jokes this podcast.
we're not doing funny today.
Be chill.
Yeah.
We've got SX versus DTG. SX, I know from doing music with KSI. He's a producer, and he does music and things like that. And I never thought I'd be seeing him fighting, so that's going to be super interesting to see how that goes. Don't expect great technique from that one. That's all I'm going to say. But they are heavyweights, and we do know that if heavyweights manage to land a big punch, someone can go crash into the canvas. So that'll be interesting to see. Then we've got Whindersson Nunes versus my mate Nate. These are both people who lost to King Kenny on the Kingpin tournament. They're now going to be fighting on the Prime card, which is super interesting. There's another tag team fight, Judd. Have you ever seen any of the tag team boxing?
I don't think I have, actually.
The last one that I watched, I don't know if you watched it as well, was super entertaining. So it's B-Dave and Pineda. What do they call
Anthony
it?
Padilla,
Los Pineda Coladas, I think they call them. And so they're together.
Isn't that the place that sells chicken on Breaking Bad?
I think it's a reference to that, because he's Mexican. One of those guys, so... Yeah,
And
no laughing on this podcast either this time. We're too tired for laughing.
We all know how their national anthem goes.
Yeah. And they're against Alex Wasabi and Nick Lamau as well. So that's going to be the tag team boxing. As long as it's just because they did a tag team like elimination where there was 4 fighters, but none of them were teamed, so any person could tag any fighter in at any moment, and that was a mess. But the normal tag team box is pretty cool, so I'm excited for that. Then we've got the long-anticipated rematch, Dean the Great versus Walid Sharks. That had 4 knockdowns in their last fight, Judd. That's going to be a banger. And that's one of the ones where you'll see some good technique from that one as well. There's genuinely some good fights
Dean the Great versus Pack of Sharks. That sounds good.
Careful, Judd. Then we've got Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis, the battle of the scammers. Which scammer can come out on top? It's going to be Logan Paul, most likely, unless Dylan Dennis is, like, way better than anyone thinks out of nowhere. But it's going to be, like, the bad blood between those two is crazy. Like, the amount of back and forth that's been going on is nuts. And then, obviously, we've got the main event that I'm going to be super nervous for with KSI versus Tommy Fury, because I really want to see... Imagine the scenes if KSI knocks out Tommy Fury. Just imagine how nuts that would be. So I'm really hoping... Even just KSI winning a decision would be insane. If KSI beats Tommy Fury, that just... I'd go crazy. So I'm going to be super nervous, but excited for that. If I've forgotten any fights on this, by the way, there's one of the prelims ones is Tempo Arts versus what's his name, Chase Damour. That's a fairly interesting one. It's a heavyweight one. It's that's one of the lower end fights, so I've just remembered that. I think that's it. If I've forgotten any more, let me know. But just a quick update. Those are all the fights on the card and what I think about them. I'll be doing a separate video about my predictions for all the fights. So yeah, stick around for that. Go on, Judd. Tell us about what you've been up to.
Oh my god! So recently, my favourite band has been touring in the UK. Goblikon. You got any questions so far? You got any questions so far from that?
What, me?
No. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Not really. I know what they're about. Like, they dress up like kind of crazy and play metal, right? There's not much more to it than that, right?
Only the one guy. It's like, no, they've got a deep, rich lore to them. You see. Thousands of years ago, there used to be a planet inhabited by goblins, and they all became immortal, and they hated it. It fucking sucked. It was really boring, and they all wanted to die. So they found a book called the Goblikon, and it killed all of the goblins by summoning a band that played a song to kill them all, except for one goblin called John, who is forced to be the band's manager for all eternity.
Oh, good. Good, yeah. Nice.
So there you go.
So, did they sing? Does the band sing songs about this lore then, or is it just like?
Yeah, they do. They have an entire album that's just about like the lore of the fucking goblins. It's called Edge of Infinity.
You know what? Really? I bet this band. I bet they're super nice. You know, people who do that sort of thing are just the nicest people.
They are. I can actually attest to that from what happened during this night. But
there's one of them who looks really noncy though. Not gonna lie, but I bet he's lovely.
I gotta be honest with you, Jake. It's a metal band. People look noncy. Like they're not necessarily are noncy, but like people like in metal bands look noncy. I totally get where you're coming from. But they're not. None of them are. So, I've been,
well, not that you know.
Not that we know of, allegedly. Anyway, so they were on tour, and I don't really know anybody else who like really likes this band. Like I know people who like know of the band. And I know of people who are like all right with some of the music, but nobody likes them like as much as me. Like out of all my friends group. So, I invited my friend Tom, who Tom's seen them with me before because he like got me tickets to go see them as like a birthday present or something. And you know, I got the tickets this time, and I wanted somebody to go with me, so I asked Tom, and he said yes. So we went through to go see.
Judd, you did ask me as well if I might be.
I did ask you. I did. Yeah. Because I was like this, you know, for content, come and watch a goblin jump around on stage.
And I totally might have if it weren't for like money and when it was on. Because it was either like the day we were doing the 200 podcast, which obviously neither of us really could end up doing that, or like a Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like I can't just do like a Wednesday in middle of week. I've got a job and stuff. Judd doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
Everyone pointing laughing.
No, I do. I start Monday. I start Monday.
Okay, stop pointing, everyone. Stop pointing. He's got a job now.
I literally got one this morning.
Did the goblin give you the job?
Yeah. He went. I like your style, kid.
You become a goblin apprentice.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'd be so happy. Anyway, yeah, so we decided to go to the Nottingham one, mainly because me and Tom both play Warhammer 40,000, and he'd not been to Warhammer World in a while, which is in Nottingham.
Yes.
So we went through early, and we had a game at the Warhammer Worlds.
And as you'll know if you watch the 200 podcast, I am also now a Warhammer nerd. I own one figure. So, you know, I know all about the Space Marines and the Juggernauts and the Angels of Death and the Hunchback Space Whales. They've probably got those somewhere.
They've probably got them hiding somewhere.
The Hogrins, the
Hogrins,
the Necklacrans.
That's almost. It's weird how close to things you get.
It sounds about right, you know.
Yeah, I'm like this is like. Yeah,
I went to Warhammer World. I saw the various syllables they used.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah, I know the Tyrangles. Yeah, like those guys.
Yeah, the Flesh Stompers. Probably some of those.
Oh yeah, that's close enough. Oh yeah, the World Munchers. Yeah, them.
Yeah, the World Munchers.
The World Munchers.
I can see you got a T-shirt from the gig as well.
I did. Yeah, I usually don't get like merch from gigs, but I'll show it off to you.
It's very metal band.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool print. I showed up wearing the Jake bought me a shirt for the 200th podcast. It had a goblin on it that was riding a frog, and it said underneath it activate goblin mode, which was great, but it wasn't as bad as last time, but once again I showed up to this fucking Goblikon gig, and I was like, I am the brightest person in the room.
Like, it's like a great shirt. It's not bright at all.
I know. It's like a light grey.
It's not even that light a grey.
No, it's not even that light a grey. It's like a soft grey or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. I got there and I was like, wow, I stick out like a fucking sore thumb. And I did last time, but like last time it was like I was wearing quite nice clothes, like smart clothes, so I kind of expected it. But this time, it was just crazy. But I ended up buying this shirt, which I really like. Which it's actually got. It also says. It says Goblin Mode on the back right there. Yeah, look at that.
Goblin Mode. Yeah. So, it fits with what I got you then. That T-shirt, for people who are just listening to the audio podcast, just picture picture a metal band's T-shirt. There you go. You've done it. There you go. That's it. It is basically like that. It's black. Yeah. The print's white. That's it's like detailed devil shit on it. That's like. Yeah.
It's a goblin. It's a goblin. Look.
Yeah.
It's like a satanic goblin. Cool. I like it.
Kind of quite devilish it. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. So you went down and you did Warhammer first, and then you did.
We did.
Gig. Did you stay over then? Because that sounds like a lot.
We did. We had a hotel.
Did you like finger each other's butts or anything? Or
yeah, a little bit. But let me tell you about the gig first. There was 2 opening acts on.
Turn your mic down, Richard.
Sorry, there was 2 opening acts on. All right, I couldn't really say anything about the first one that was on. It was funny because like just as the first like opening act was coming on, I was like getting a drink at the bar, and I saw them all coming on, and I saw this woman coming on with a mic, and then I was like turned to get my drinks, and then they started. And I was listening to him thinking, yeah, this guy's all right on the mic doing like he's screaming and shit. And I turned around and it was the woman. And it's like she's just doing like these really deep, like guttural screams into this mic. And I was like, oh my God, all right. But what was weird about it was like, you know how usually the front man of the band is the lead singer, like they're like the voice of the band, really. She wasn't. It was like the lead guitarist. So it was always really jarring at the end of like their songs because she'd like spend 4 minutes like doing this really intense screaming, and then like the song would end and she'd kind of like just move away from this mic, and the other guy would come over and go, "Hey guys, anyway, that was I was like screaming orphanage or something." It's just a bit.
I wonder why they do it like that.
I don't know, but they were all right. They're okay. There's probably even less to say about the next one that came on. You know, it wasn't anything crazy, but they when Goblikon came on, and I totally forgot this, but the guy who usually does like lead vocals for Goblikon, a guy called Scorpion, because of course that's his name.
That's such like a fucking like teenager who thinks he's like edgy and cool, giving himself a new name type of thing.
That's his real God-given name, Scorpion McGee.
Okay, yeah. Scorpion McGee.
Yeah. He's Scorpion McGee. He for whatever reason he couldn't be on tour this time around. Like they said like family troubles, and like they left it at that because it was private, obviously. So
I just distracted Judd with a picture of John Fury looking like a complete ape. I just thought he'd enjoy it.
God, he looks like he's wearing a mask over his face. It looks like a mask. Fucking creepy. And anyway, so he had some sort of family like emergency. So it was actually the people on vocals were John Goblikon. The Goblin was singing this time round.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, I know. Which he was great. I didn't even know John could sing. Funnily enough, you may or may not know who these people are, but the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse showed up and did a lot of the vocals as well.
Corpse, yeah.
I don't know if because they are actually like quite well known.
I've heard of the name. I've not heard any of their music or anything. How old is that band? Because I don't know whether I've heard of them from like Viva La Bam or something like that.
That'd make sense.
Yeah,
that'd make sense. So. But yeah, so he was there. The lead singer from Cannibal Corpse was there, like doing some backing vocals as well, which was really fucking cool. They played my favorite song, and they also played the one song that Tom knows. So both of us were happy. So,
oh, good.
Yeah. I threw myself into the pit a few times. I would have spent all night in the pit, to be honest. But with Tom's legs, he can't do it as much. He managed to like get up and get in the pit for the song he knows, which was like great. But he can't with his legs very often. So I and I didn't want to just fucking like leave Tom like stood at the side. I was there enjoying the music with him. So I spent most of the time with Tom anyway. But we had a great time.
Are you that bothered about the pit when you go to see a band like that? Because I would imagine you might like do it for a bit, but then most of the time want to be a bit further back from it and listen to the music. That's kind of what I would guess, but I don't know.
Sometimes I probably went down for 3 songs, and like one of them was because it's my favorite song by them, and then and one of the other times was because it was the one that Tom knows. So and then the other time I guess I just felt like it, but I don't know. I did step back for a few of the songs and just like watch it with Tom anyway, just for a breather. So yeah. But after the show finished, they they all had to sort of like come out into a little bit where the crowd was, just to like sort of walk around to get out the back, like leave through the exit. So they were talking to one of them was talking to a few friends. I couldn't tell you the guy's name. I only know the names of Scorpion and John. I only know the lead singer and the Goblin.
I love the Goblin. The band wouldn't be that band without the Goblin. Like there's just
no, he's the manager.
he's the thing that makes it, isn't he?
Yeah. But they were walking around. He sort of like. At one point, this one guy came up to me and he was like, they all talk like this, by the way. He said, do you know where I can get some liquor? Like that. And I was like, oh, yes, Mr. Goblin, sir.
Are they American? Is it an American band?
Yeah, it's an American band, yeah. But they was it you that said this? It sounds as if they're like, No, it was Tom that said it. Tom was like, where are they from, Necrogoblikon? And I'm like, oh, they're from America. I was like, it was like, oh, okay, because they talk as if they're talking with like an exaggerated accent. Like they're like, when like a Swedish person like sort of like learns American, but they're always like really sort of like, and I say when I say American instead of English, is because like
it's because they get their English from American sources.
So it's the like, whoa, hey there, and like really exaggerated with it. They genuinely talk like that, which is great. But no, I think they're all like from California. But anyway, he asked me where the booze was. I showed him the booze. He was very thankful for it. And then a little bit later, after he'd got a drink, he was like, I think he was taking a couple pictures with some fans, and I don't like that. I don't like being like, hey, can I get a picture? I just feel weird doing it. He obviously didn't mind. He didn't care. He was obviously having fun. But I sort of just went up to him and I shook his hand and I said, oh, I've been like a fan since your second album, and he I don't know how much of this was I don't know if he was bullshitting me or whatever, like just, but it was, even if he was bullshitting me, it was nice he said it, but he looked at me and he went, hey, yeah, I thought I recognized you for a second. You've seen us before. And I was like, yeah, I have seen you before. I saw you in Leeds, and and I was like, yeah, John. I was bald, and John played the drum solo on my head, and he went, yeah. I was like, oh my god, you fucking remember? I couldn't believe that. I was like, I didn't know if it was just like saying it just to be like nice, but even if he was saying it just to be nice, that's very sweet. So
yeah, that sort of shit is so cool, isn't it? You can't get better than just like, I don't know, just a nice little interaction like that. It's hard to say.
Yeah. No, they're very nice. They're very sweet, all of them. So that's pretty much all the news from the gig, but that's not where the fun of the night ended.
Oh, what a surprise!
We went to we didn't go anywhere in particular because we don't know Nottingham. Like we'd never really had a night out in Nottingham, but me and Tom are the adventurous type. When we were sort of just like, let's just walk in a direction and see what happens. And we
Isn't that
found
kind of what you did? Like, you went somewhere else recently, weren't it? After like a Warhammer tournament or something like that. Oh, you got locked out of your car because you were stoned or something, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. It wasn't because I was stoned. I got there, and literally, it was. I had to leave this tournament earlier so I could like get back to the car park, and literally, it just hit 7 as I showed up to the car park, and the automatic gates started shutting. And then I was like, well, fuck it, I'm stranded in Hull. Might as well get stoned. It is what happened. It wasn't because I was stoned that I got stranded in Hull. But
you went out though, didn't you? You tried to go out.
I tried to. Yeah, no, I tried to go out, and it was a massive fucking failure. I was like, what do people do in Hull? There's nothing here. But no, this time we ended up in somewhere awesome. It was called Walrus, and you. Yeah, and well, our favorite. I don't know if you want me saying the name of the place on stream, but you know our favorite place that does metal music and rock music in town. Imagine that, much livelier and bigger. That we found that, and sounds it was good. Perfect. It was it was like it
sounds
was like
our favorite place has literally nearly gone under 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time you like see the news online or something of, this favorite like metal bar of yours is shutting down, they're having a big finale kind of event, that goes so well that like, we don't have to shut down anymore now. So that's happened multiple times.
But so it was like that, but just not shutting down perpetually, and actually had people in it. So that was great. We ended up in there for a while, and so all night we'd been seeing. You've seen these people. Maybe you haven't seen them, but you'll know about them. These like e-scooters that you can rent, like to drive around cities. I kept seeing
love those.
people.
I was using them loads when I went to Liverpool.
I know, and I was like, I gotta fucking have a go one of them before I go home.
How drunk were you?
So I was fucked up. So
you're not supposed to ride them when you're drunk.
I know. It came up with a notification being like, "You're not supposed to ride these when you're drunk." And I was like looking at my phone, like, "You don't know if I'm drunk or not, phone. Fuck you." Imagine
you're so fucked up that your phone starts saying, "I know how drunk you are, Jordan." Like it starts speaking to you.
But yeah, so fucking I'm like drunk looking at this phone sorting it out, and I finally got it to work, and Tom had ordered an Uber back at this point. His legs were failing on him a bit, so he didn't want to walk back, so we were getting an Uber. The guy, I was like riding about on this bike, and it finally showed up this fucking thing, and he's like, "Jordan, come on, put it down, we gotta go." And I was like, I'm gonna cycle back.
It was a bike. It was a bike. How was you a scooter?
No. So I found a bike. Like there were scooters about, but I found a bike. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this bike then.
Okay. I love the scooters. Scooters sound better to me.
Okay. Well, I was like, I'm gonna cycle back, and it's like, you're gonna, okay, all right, cycle back then. So
did he say? Was he annoyed at you? Was he like, cycle back. It
went. It's just like, all right, you fucking idiot. Go cycle
to be
back.
fair, I can never imagine that guy annoyed. He's the chillest guy ever, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah. It was like, I was like, I'll have a cig and just wait for you outside for you to get back. I was like, sound. So I did. And I'm riding about on this bike, Jake. I get lost a few times, but it's fine. I'm having fun on the bike.
A few times, not like a few times. Fixed it.
No, but you know what? You know why though? Because the bike was like going so fast.
Yeah, they are fast.
My Google Maps weren't keeping up with it. So like, I'd be like going, and it'd be like, it'd be like telling me. It'd be showing me a street to go down, and I'd be coming up to it, and then I'd look down at my phone, and I'm still coming up to it, and then I look down at my phone again, and it's finally decided to move forward, and it was 6 streets back.
I bet you could have probably figured it out better if you weren't so drunk.
Maybe I could have. I was quite drunk. But as I was driving around in this city centre on my bike, Jake, I hit someone. I hit someone.
Oh no!
Yeah, I hit someone.
What? How fast were you going? Who was it? Oh my god!
So it was this this gentleman who you know, he looks like the type that like.
Don't tell me it was a goblin.
It wasn't the goblin. That would have been so good. I broke his arm or something.
Imagine, right? It's out of a movie. You accidentally hit him while drunk on your bike. You break his arm or something like. It's like, I need to fucking do the rest of these shows on this tour. You're gonna do them for me. I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna have to coach you to be them. You know, something straight out of a movie. And then you become the goblin. It's called The Goblin's Apprentice. I've got the title. There you go. It's called The Goblin's Apprentice. Copyrighted. No one steal that idea. We're making it.
But yeah, I hit this guy on the bike, and the thing is, we were both coming around this corner. By the way, he was on an e-scooter as well, and what happened was I was coming around this corner.
Drunk idiots on these scooters, and you both.
We both came around this corner too fast, and I like tried to get out of his way, but literally, I just clipped his like rear wheel and he went flying.
Oh no, he went flying. He went a flying. One. Oh no.
No, he went flying, and he didn't really say out, to be honest. He like got up and like dusted himself up and sort of like went like that, and I stopped my bike. I got off. I went, look, I'm so sorry. I literally went, look, I know this isn't a lot, but I got a 5 for it, and I was like, just fucking take this. I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I know, I paid him off. I'm like, but I felt bad. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking, you know, here you go, take this 5.
Oh my god!
So,
in that way, wait, do you remember the time when you like burnt a homeless guy's beard by accident or something? Didn't you do the same to him? Is this like a regular thing that you do? You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I've hurt you. Here's some money.
I don't. I didn't burn the homeless man. What happened with the homeless man was he was struggling to fucking like. He had a lighter that obviously
you gave him a lighter
working.
that he shouldn't have had.
Yeah. No, I don't know, but basically he was like, he was trying with this like shitty lighter to get this cig to work, and it was back when like we had that like really cold wind. Do you remember that? It was like really strong wind, but it was like really cold as well. And he was sat there just trying to light his cig, and it weren't working. I thought to myself, you know, this guy, he's got fucking nothing, and like, you know, his life's already shit anyway. He wants this one thing and he can't fucking have it. And I was like, I'm gonna get him like, I saw a dude selling jet lighters, and I'm like, I'm gonna get him a fucking jet lighter. That he can light his cigs up whenever he wants. Then, you know, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and it'll last him for ages because it was this big thing. And he just looked like a regular homeless dude trying to like light his cig when I saw him.
It's an awful idea.
So I went and I got this jet lighter, and I went up to the guy and I'm like, hey dude, I saw you struggling to try to light your thing. Here you go, have this lighter. And pretty much the second I said that and I got a good look at him, he like looked up and he was like, oh, thank you, mate. And I was like, fuck, bad idea. I shouldn't give this guy, I shouldn't give it. I've said it now, I have to give him the lighter. But he was like, oh, thank you. Have you got any money? And then that pissed me off anymore because I'm like, I've just given you this like good lighter and now you're asking for money. So I was sort of pissed off at him as well. I'm like, fucking whatever. I was like, take this lighter. And then he's like fumbling with it. And then he gets it going. But he like isn't looking at what he's doing. So he like starts to burn his beard. He like starts to set it on fire. And I'm like, dude, you're getting your beard. But he's like, what can you do? What do you do? What can you do? What can you do? But yeah, anyway, that was pretty much his night in Nottingham. We got up this morning, and we drove back. That's why I'm tired, by the way.
Right, because he's not got a job yet. Everyone pointed at him and laughed. Ha 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 ha! Unemployed.
I have got a job. I have got a job. I start on Monday.
What are you doing? Hooking? What? You working the streets? You're selling that ass? Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. I'm so glad you hit someone with your bike. Were you thinking? If I don't ride on the pavement, Jake's gonna be so mad at me? Because I hate it when cyclists ride on the road. I know it's different though, because electric bikes, like e-bikes, is different. It's a different type of thing. But I can imagine you thinking, oh, I better ride on the pavement because Jake will be so cross at me. And then you just barge into this, dude.
No, I mean, I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking a lot right then, I'll be honest. I was just on my bike going, woo, this is fun. But anyway, I totally forgot as well. As I finally found a place to park up the bike, because you can't just park them anyway. They have to be like
in specific. It's allowed, doesn't it?
Yeah. As I finally found a place for this bike, I was getting off it. And by the way, I'd been, obviously apart from that one dude that I hit, for how drunk I was, I'd ridden this bike like a fucking champ. Like, it was great. But I went to get off this bike, and as I did, I was wearing quite baggy jeans, and like the front of the seat sort of like got stuck in my baggy jeans somehow. I started like getting off it, and like the bike started tipping because of like these heavy electronic bikes. It started tipping me with it, so the bike like threw me down with it, and I just like had this bike on top of me. It's like I've cycled all this way, and I've fallen over getting off the bike.
Oh god, they are so fun. I really like the scooters. I think at some point we should go to Liverpool and like have like a pub crawl or something, and stay over there and just ride around the streets on the scooters there, because they're so fucking fun. And honestly, they're not a massively cheap way of getting around, but they're cheaper than a taxi in a city for sure.
Oh yeah, no, it cost me like £3.40 when I cycled back from like the centre to the hotel we were staying at,
and it might be £5 or £6 for a taxi, and plus you get to have a bunch of fun riding around on an electric scooter. So I loved it when I was doing my solo trip in Liverpool and just mildly drunk the whole time, just whizzing around these various things I was doing. Yeah, sounds good. So Judd, have you seen this? Have you seen about Aidan Ross?
No.
Do you know who he is?
Who?
Massive streamer, huge streamer on our favourable platform of Kick, because fuck Twitch. He's probably the biggest streamer on Kick. Is he the biggest streamer? No, I think maybe Kai Cenat's the biggest streamer, but Aidan Ross is a huge streamer, and he has been bigging up this stream that he's going to be doing, interviewing Kim Jong-un. Because Aidan Ross has been managing to get lots of like fairly big names on his stream to interview him. He's had Andrew Tate on fairly regularly.
Okay.
He recently hosted like an online face-to-face with KSI and Tommy Fury. He's done a lot of kind of these. He's kind of just been a big platform to host a live kind of like chat for people who are really famous, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he managed. He's been trying to do this. Use his kind of platform of doing that sort of thing. By the way, he's quite controversial. I mean, he's like mild friends with Andrew Tate, so he's that sort of person. He's managed to land Kim Jong-un on his fucking stream, except not really, because of course not. Like it was a lookalike. Like I've literally seen the lookalike of this Kim Jong-un on a Cold Ones video, getting him to say some stupid bullshit before. He's from Fiverr. Like he's not a big. And like the entire time, I saw the news that this was going to happen. I'm like, well, it's not going to be. It's going to be a lookalike then. Like.
Yeah.
There's I swear to God, people genuinely seem to have believed that he was going to get actual Kim Jong-un on when it was just like a lookalike guy who's got like an Australian accent, by the way. He's trying to hide it, but he's like so like people were genuinely like, oh, disappointed. Like, I thought it was going to ask him, like, questions about his cock and, like, why America's better. I'm like, are you fucking dumb? This was never going to happen. And by the way, like, the main thing I want to say about it is, like, fuck Aiden Ross. It's like, that's not even good content. That's such a stupid shit joke. Now, I know we don't have much room to talk, but that's like worse than our content. You know what I mean? And when your content's worse than ours, I mean, come on. Literally, we could pay Kim Jong-un impression man to come on ours. Well, maybe not now, because he's been on Aiden Ross's stream, so he'd probably put his prices up. But we could fucking find a guy who is a Donald Trump lookalike to chat to us for an hour. You know, and it'd be shit. Because what are we going to say to him? And it was shit when Aiden Ross were talking to him as well. It was boring. It weren't even a joke. Because part of it's like, you've got to pretend that it's real. Because otherwise it's going to be too obvious and then the joke's not as funny. But then, like, you can't say anything funny to him. Because then it breaks the immersion too much.
So then you're like, so Kim, tell us about these death camps that you have where you're working, like, children to death. Like... That's a funny bit, innit? That'll get the fans laughing.
It was just shit. And now, you have to bear in mind, I'm salty about it. I'm not even gonna lie. I do think, like, I am jealous of the dude's success. He had 250,000 people watching him because they all thought actual Kim Jong-un was gonna turn up. And, like, but it's just like, what the fuck? Because it's like, this guy who's shit, he's not. I don't think he's entertaining at all. Already has a massive audience. Does something that everyone should know is going to be fake and shouldn't really get him any more viewers than normal. And then everyone's like, "What?" When he reveals that it was that all along. And not only that, when he's got that into the guy there and he's doing the stream, it's shit anyway. Like he didn't even make good use of it. It's like, fucking hell. What? Aiden Ross, I think, is quite probably the most overrated streamer. It's quite possibly. But I also, actually, I don't know. I'm not... The three massive streamers, right, that I'm not a big fan of at all at the minute. Aiden Ross, I Show Speed. He's just fucking annoying. And I get the demographic that would like him and that. And I'm not going to hate on him much for it, but fuck off. I just do not like him at all. And then I think Kai Cenat's overrated as well. I mean, he's probably the least overrated out of them, but I don't think his content's that good. I don't think it's particularly off, but it's not very good. And he's insanely popular as a result of it. I just don't get it. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that whole thing where Aiden Ross somehow tricked everyone into thinking he was interviewing Kim Jong-un. Like, no. Right. Have you been up to anything else, Judd? You been doing anything else?
Nope.
Okay, well, I had another thing that I wanted to ask you, and I'm not going to lie, this happens every so often. It's straight up stealing from another podcast. There's another podcast that I listen to called 0 Degrees, and it's some of, like, the Yogscast network. None of them have got degrees from a university, and they answer weird questions from their audience. And every so often they get a question where it's like, I want to talk to Judd about that. And the question that they got asked was the following. If there was a big kind of war between every animal in the UK, we're talking mainland UK, every animal's involved, each species forms one army. So, for example, like cats, that's an army, yeah? You might have, like, hedgehogs, they're an army. You know what I mean? So, every animal in the UK... Which is coming out on top? We're not going to include humans.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And also, I guess it's irrelevant once you do that, but, like, you're not allowed to, like, they're not allowed to craft anything or anything like that. So, like, monkeys can't, like, I don't know, like, grab a gun and use it, because I think some monkeys might be able to figure that out, you know?
Well, what about, like, just using, like, bricks and shit? Like, are monkeys still allowed to do that? Like, are they allowed to pick up rock and use as weapon?
I guess they could pick stuff up. but only anything that would be equivalent to something in the wild. So a brick would be okay because you could probably find a rock in the wild.
Yeah.
But not like a sharpened pipe. You know, not like a javelin or a sword. Like a monkey can't pick that up and start wielding it. But you know, something reasonably natural.
Why can't the monkeys have chainsaws, for fuck's sake? That makes everything so much more interesting.
They could like rag a wing mirror off of a car and use that as a blunt object. You know, they could use stuff that's not natural, but only in like a kind of more natural way. I don't want to see a monkey like picking up a sniper rifle or something, you know.
I don't know. That's a hard one. I want to say something like fucking daft, like pigeons. Just because, like, just because, like, there's so many of them. And like, if they're all, it depends. It depends how like organized they are, and like sort of how smart they are. Because it's like if they're still just pigeons, it's like then you know. But if they've had some sort of like hive mind that's like collectively to all the pigeons gone destroy the other races, attack formation, like you know fucking. And they've got them in like fight patterns, like dive bombing fucking bears and shit. I don't know, but like if they're just normal retarded pigeons, then they're probably not going to get too far.
There's 18 million pigeons in the UK.
Yeah,
so it's a big number. I was thinking a contender as well, but pigeons is a good call because it's kind of similar vibes. I was thinking rats could be a big one.
Yeah,
because rats can do more damage than you think. They're bigger than people expect, and there's going to be a lot of them.
I'd say that they're smarter than pigeons as well. I'd say rats could be quite smart. Like
rat population has increased to 150 million rats.
Yeah.
So there's nearly 10 times as many rats to pigeons.
Yeah. Can I just ask? Who's keeping track of all those rats? Is somebody like numbering them? Is somebody like got a little pen and just like numbers every one?
Yeah, there's each one guy. He's the rat guy. He's the rat king.
He's the rat guy, yeah.
Yeah, so there's approximately 2.2 rats per person. So so out of those two, I think rats probably would take it over pigeons. I know pigeons can fly, but is a pigeon gonna take... one pigeon is going to take out 10 rats on average? I don't think so. I think rats has got a better chance than pigeons.
Yeah, I think
The other one that I was thinking about though is I bet there's a lot of dogs in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 12 million dogs. So that's actually less than pigeons. But how many? Like, if we're thinking equivalents, like how many dogs could a rat take out? What? Wait. How many rats could a dog take out? Sorry.
Well, they get them to do that, don't they? They're like farmers will get dogs and train them specifically to like hunt rats on the farm. So
that's
like
hunting, not in a big war.
Yeah, but then you see those dogs are like the veterans, and like they train up the other dogs. They've got combat experience. It's like, right, this is how we flush out the rats. But then also, it's not the rats probably won't be running anymore. Because they're in a big horde. Probably move like a tide of rats. So they're probably not as scared. In fact, that would probably freak the dogs out, if anything. I can't see like dogs doing like massive sort of headlong cavalry charges into like a sea of rats.
We're talking like 11, 12 rats per dog as well. And you have to remember, each rat is going to be around the same size, whereas dogs, you're looking at anywhere from a fucking Chihuahua to a Great Dane. So there's a lot of smaller dogs as well. And I think 11 rats could fairly potentially take on a Great Dane, whereas 11 rats are demolishing a Chihuahua. One rat could potentially take on a Chihuahua. You know,
some dogs are just straight up pussies as well. It's like my dog Toby's not going to do anything. My dog Toby would like have a panic attack and die if he saw one rat. So like,
what are we thinking about like bigger animals? Like I know we've not got a lot of tigers in the UK, but there's some in zoos.
Yeah. That's why I brought up monkeys, because I know there's monkeys in zoos, and it's like it's a case of like how far are we willing to like sort of give monkeys leeway with stuff, because it's like you know, we say like. Pick up, well, they could pick up a metal pipe, couldn't they? Because it's like I'm assuming a lot of this fighting is going to be going on down in like urban areas as well. It's not like they're going to be like, we shall take our fighting to the forest.
There's like less than 1,000 monkeys in the UK, though. The dogs would easily demolish the monkeys,
but they just climb up trees. They just climb up trees.
And then what, though?
Just climb up. They'll figure something out. Those, but you know. The monkeys, they'll figure something out.
They're going to have to come down at some point. And then you've literally got like 100,000 dogs to attack one monkey. Monkeys do not stand a chance here. Like, we've probably got like a close amount of tigers to monkeys. And tigers going to stand a way better chance at fighting off 1,000 dogs. I think any animals that we have like confined to a zoo is going to be difficult because I think the biggest animals that the UK has an abundance of is probably dogs. Am I right? Or maybe goats. There's a lot of goats.
Do have a lot of goats. Or
cows. What about cows?
Yeah, I was just thinking about cows.
There's only 88,000 goats. Goats ain't doing shit.
What about horses?
Ooh, horses.
Yeah.
So there's 9.6 million cows.
Yeah.
What we're thinking here, so that means that there's like about 15 rats per cow. I think 15 rats is killing a cow with not too much problem. Because cows aren't like the most aggressive, are they?
No.
Okay, so not cows. Okay, what about horse population? Because population's the big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horse population in the UK. Only 850,000 horses. They've not got the numbers.
Oh, wow. No, they ain't got the numbers.
Horses is a good call for like an actual good like animal, a powerful animal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a curveball for you. What about ants?
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, but I'm trying to think like it's not. We're not having like this is one army versus another army, are we? We're having this. All of the species in the world have just decided to go. In the
They're
UK,
all
have just
different armies. Yeah, there's all. Yeah.
So they're all fighting each other at the same time. Is what we're thinking. So it's like. Yeah, they like I don't know, probably like the billions of ants could like fuck up, you know, the hedgehogs and stuff. But you know, if I know we've only got like 850,000 horses, but if they all just like ran full speed through the ants, you know, the ants aren't going to do much to that. So
I've just looked up the population of ants, though, right?
Yeah.
Globally, so this is not in the UK, but I'm going to figure out UK in a minute. The global population of ants is 20 quadrillion.
Yeah.
So that's like 20 billion.
Yeah.
Something like that, I don't know. 2.5 million ants per human.
So what are we saying? Are we talking like trillions in the UK?
Wait, let me work this out. Sorry, bear with me, calculator. Right. So 67 wait. 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 67 million. So times that by 2.5 million. So we're looking at that's billion. Wait, that can't be right. Because that's nearly the entire amount. It's probably I think my math's slightly off, so I'm gonna compensate. We're looking at maybe like 169 trillion ants.
Okay.
Compared to the other most one that we've seen so far, which is probably about 130 billion rats. Yeah, I mean, you know, when you've got like over 1,000 ants per rat, over 1,000 ants is gonna easily demolish one rat, which means that like the amount of numbers that ants have got, I think ants would take it.
It's hard to. But what about spiders? Because like, what types of actually venomous spiders do we have in the UK? Because I know we've not got ones that will just like outright kill you, but we have got ones in the UK that can like fuck you up. And if they're all like, banding together on the spider shit.
I
They can make webs. What if they make like web traps?
They can. I can't find how many spiders there is in the UK, but I just know that, like, you know, UK is not big for spiders, is it? It's not a big spidery country, but I know I wouldn't say we're small on the ant front. I think the UK gets a fair amount of ants. Maybe not compared to a lot of countries, like, you know, in places in Africa or Australia, but
yeah, they don't know what to do with all their ants
too. So
yeah,
I don't know. Can you think of something that you genuinely think could beat ants, even just on pure numbers? Shall I just check cats real quick? Because they're a kind of bigger animal. Cat
I don't think I honestly think we have more dogs than cats in the UK. I don't know.
We do, yeah. Cats are fucked. Yeah, I just don't know. Is there anything? Foxes are not. There's not enough of them.
No,
I'm trying to think of stuff that's like in the wild that might be a bit bigger that we've got lots of.
Dogs have already started the race war against foxes, and they're winning so far. So
they're
out of the question.
I was kind of thinking, like, what birds does the UK have? Because we've got a lot of birds. If we lump birds in as one, so including pigeons and seagulls and everything together.
If we were like all species of birds, then I think birds have it. I think if we're just doing birds flat out, then birds have got it.
So, right. So there's about 170 million birds in the UK. Now you have to bear in mind, a lot of them birds are going to be small and feeble. But there's going to be, you know, a chunk of them that's seagulls, and there'll be a few eagles here and there, and there'll be a good chunk of them are going to be pigeons.
Mm.
But Judd,
you'd have
160 odd trillion compared to 160 million.
I know,
honestly,
but like,
that's still it's not 1,000 more.
It's not just the birds doing this. It's like they're all the species are fighting each other. So
I know what you're saying, but then that counts against the birds as well.
But I feel like air superiority matters a lot here. Like, you know, for a lot of the time, for most of the time, they can be up in the sky, like looking up. Yeah, like checking things out. Like,
almost letting the others fight for them at some point.
Yeah. And like,
having said that, ants, they're under the ground. They can go under the ground to avoid all that shit.
Yeah.
And which is a better avoidance?
Birds
can't be flying forever.
I know, but there's also so many other animals that travel underground, like moles that would be at war with the ants. You've got fucking.
I know, and you're right. I just think that ants would really easily clear out everything that's underground first.
All of the other shit that's underground, like spiders and stuff, would be fighting.
Yeah, I know, but stuff, that's what I'm saying. Like, ants massively outnumber all of that. I think they'd get rid of all that pretty quickly. I think what we're discovering here with this kind of thought is that anything that's we've not even thought about sea. Like how is the I guess that's kind of going to have to just be forgotten about, because that'd have to be like a different war, I guess. But so anything that's land based is just going to be fucked, because there's just going to be so much variety there that's going to take each other out so easily and quickly. It's got to be something that can utilize underground burrowing or something that's in the air, because they're going to retain most of their numbers once all the land animals have kind of fucked each other straight away. So are we thinking then either ants or birds? And we're being really nice to birds, bear in mind, because we could say insects or birds, in which case, or if all insects work together, there's nothing else stands a chance, surely.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say ants is the winner, because we're kind of already nice in birds and not separating those into different kinds of birds. What do you think?
I'm still quite big in birds' corner, to be honest.
You think birds would be so much more dominant than ants that it's worth giving them it anyway?
I just think the air is just like such a useful tool. It's like
imagine this then, Judd. Birds versus ants. There's 1,000 ants per bird at least, right?
Okay, yeah.
What are the birds going to do to actually kill the ants?
They're doing dive bomb tactics. They're sweeping in and they're getting them with the claws and the beaks as they're like diving down and getting them.
They're not going to be able to get enough just by diving down. The ants are too small. They're going to have to basically land. And if they ever land, they're fucked, and they cannot stay up there forever. I think ants win that war.
You seen a pelican's mouth? You seen what a pelican can do?
Pelican can't wrap its mouth around an ant. It's too close to the floor.
I don't know. I think they'd be able to go with the beaks, like a sideways beak thing, and like scoop a bunch up and
listen,
them all down.
At Tweets Badly, let us know what you think about this debate. I'm team
birds
ants.
Or ants?
We're gonna contact Epic Rap Battles of History, right? Get them to do a birds versus ants. Go. Let us know, which team are you on? Are you team ant or team bird? Let's see. Maybe we could start this as a debate, kind of like, do you remember when that meme went round of, are there more doors or wheels in the world, or something like that? I can't remember what the debate was, but there was something like that. More doors or wheels? I think that was it. What do you think? Doors or wheels, Judd? Quick one of that before we...
I think there's more wheels. No, there's more doors. There's more doors. Of course there is. Yeah, there's more doors.
Google says wheels, but I don't know.
Really?
I think it's just the first thing that comes up on Google says wheels, but I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really care. Well, that's been the first podcast back since the big 200th. It's been a chill one, but I think it's been a good one. There's been some interesting goblin-related stories. I said some stuff. I can't remember what it was. I'm that tired. And, animal debate. Great. Right, we'll see you next time for episode 202. It's going to be twice as better. Probably.
202 and you too. 202.
And Mewtwo.
Mewtwo, yeah.
Oh, good night. Right,